Hi Scorpio. Happy New Year. I'm doing a video on New Year's Eve. I just did the Cancer video. And you're up next. How you doing? So, 2020 is a year of teaching you how not to manipulate, how not to emotionally blackmail, how not to push, how not to get your way and still receive everything that you want. There's a couple of issues when it comes to family, space, personal space, that need to be discussed. Some truths you have to tell, especially if you're in dead-end situations that you can no longer tolerate. There are some changes in terms of work titles and what it is that you are interested in or want to study or work in now. There are sudden changes coming up for all the water signs. But for you, you may be the bringer of the sudden change. You may be the one who sits down and finally tells your family the truth. You may be the one who leaves it all for a new profession. You may be the one who has decided after a very long time to, in one way or another, communicate your truth. This is about power, it's about self-worth, it's about who you used to be, who you are now, and how you want to communicate that. Mars is doing, a lot. And as your previous ruler, ancient ruler, it wants from you to express yourself without agenda. It wants you to tell the truth and stick to the facts. And the facts are you want to pursue what you want to pursue because you think that that is what your life should be. And instead of lying about it or making it seem like something else, tell the truth and row away and, be honest, because the truth is coming out anyway. There's so many eclipses. There's no way you'll be able to hang on to something that isn't real, and that applies to your relationships as well. Are you being completely honest? You can't start wondering if they are, if you're not. And I don't mean in terms of other people, I mean in terms of what you want to do. But if you are worried about other people, this fire sign is really out of pocket. Really out of pocket. Now you just have to figure out who's lying. But by the first eclipse here, you'll have a pretty good idea. The moon will show you, but you have to be clear enough to hear it. And trying to get your partner, your boss, your business partner, your best friend, the person you wish was more to you, trying to get them to do more with you by talking them into it, as you are often able to do, just isn't going to work. 2020 isn't letting anyone phone it in. And that's really interesting. Because you guys are so good with the charm and the words that you can get away with phoning it in if you want to. Even at your most intense, sometimes you're just putting on a show. Ooh, I know you didn't like that. But you have to have these tough conversations with whoever you need to have them with because it's time for the truth to be out. You want a certain kind of life, and everyone should be aware. Let the chips fall where they may. And if you have to start again, you will. And it will be glorious again. Beautiful. Even if it's terrifying. Let's look at these cards. Love you. Hi Scorpio, welcome to the second part of your reading. All right, let's take another look at it. So Queen of Wands, Page of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles, Knight of Wands. Let's take that first row there. It's strange to say to a water sign who's known for feeling so intensely and so deeply that this season is going to teach you how to feel your way through. And that doesn't make sense, right? Well, what I mean is, usually what Scorpio does is that their instincts will tell them something, feed them some kind of info, and then from there, you have this Martian influence where you want to rush in and do the thing. 2020 is about not only not rushing in, even though you will very much want to, but instead being so magnetic and in your power there in the center that all of that fire just keeps building around you and you don't spend it. So when do you spend it? A little bit further down here. The second week of January, you have a pretty clear decision to make. Now, this can be internal. For a lot of you, it is. You need to communicate in the best way possible to those around you that you feel are owed some sort of an explanation. Why you've chosen to do what you've chosen to do. Now, what you've chosen to do is right for you. God willing, you will be very successful in it. But the road between getting there and where you are now, where you need to talk to people about it, that's a bumpy road. And if you're dealing with a Cancer or a Pisces, you don't know if you should just lie to them, and that's the easiest way to get rid of the problem, or if you should just leave them. And that's the easiest way to get out of the problem. I think the reason you don't want to do either and feel really stuck in the middle about doing anything at all is because you have a very specific vision in your mind of what you wanted your future to look like. And that sort of vision can really handcuff you because it doesn't leave a lot of room for anything. Right? You are also somehow convinced that if this person doesn't let you follow the thing that is that you want to do, that you'll never get here. When we start to dread that we will never be able to quite personify or take on the Empress energy, something really sad happens to us. Right? If that Cancer or that Pisces are not treating you right, it's really time to assess if you leaving them is worse than what they're doing to you. And what they're doing to you in this case being slowly stealing from you. And what are they stealing? Your magic. Wearing you down. And you're staying for the look of it. Meanwhile, this person has laid all kinds of groundwork for those tower moments. If you feel like you're dealing with a pretty sneaky person, you may find that by the time you get into any scenario, this person that where you know mutual people, this person's already said all your business. Right? It's a year of teaching you all different forms of humility, having you get over some of your biggest hang-ups, but also having some huge implications for just a few choices here at the end of January. Do you stand up for yourself? Do you let your relatives run all over you? Do you have time to do anything for yourself? Do you know how to make time? Or do you want to state for the record that the sky is falling and that's it? because that doesn't seem so helpful, Scorpio. Something to think about. Okay, let's go right into this extended. Love you. London tickets below.